Here with Concordia head golf coach Brett Muller to preview the 2022-23 seasons, which are about to get started as we record this. And you've had your team in for a little while for some qualifying and practice rounds. This is year 12 for you as head golf coach. I'm sure the years kind of sneak up on you, but what keeps things kind of fresh and new for you as you look towards a new season?
Yeah, I mean, one of the biggest changes we've seen is just in our preseason qualifying this year. We did have the ability to bring our teams in a week early from classes and being able to play some more 18-hole rounds during qualifying. We've had 4 rounds so far up to this point. We'll have one more tomorrow, and that'll really kind of solidify our travel rosters for those first 2 tournaments, kind of positions on the teams there.
I guess we could look at last year real quick before we look forward, but I know some fun moments for both the men and women. You had a couple of individuals place really highly in the conference, some records broken for the men and women. But what did you find most enjoyable about last season?
Just being around the team on a daily basis, seeing that growth, seeing that progression, and it's always fun to break records. Obviously we will lose, miss out on Kendra. Kendra was a great player in this conference for the last 4 years, and set multiple individual school records, and also was a part of multiple team school records as well. And then on the men's side, Ivan had a great season last year, finishing 5th in the conference. He was just 3 shots back in that 54-hole shortened GPAC Championship last year. Would have been nice to see what could have happened on that final day, but unfortunately, we had to make the decision that we did, and the course just wasn't playable on that final day.
Looking at the men's side first, certainly you talked about Ivan, and you also bring back Drew to Urkel. So what does that dynamic do for expectations when you have them and several guys who were regulars kind of in your top 5 last year?
Yep. So Ivan and Drew, I think every tournament last year, in some combination or another, those 2 played in our 1 or 2 positions. So it's great to have that leadership back, kind of guys that are used to leading the team. As far as the scoring goes, looking at our spring roster, of the 5 guys that competed at the GPAC Championship, all 5 of those guys are back. We were able to bring in, a couple really solid freshmen that are making a push, and just the returners have done a great job of improving as well, putting in the time over the summer. Looking at our first 4 days of qualifying, this is the deepest team we've had on the men's side, and that's only going to help us down the road. I think our practices are going to be much more competitive, because every day guys are going to be competing for a spot in the top 5.
I wanted to take a little bit of a closer look at Ivan too. He had a round where he shot a 7 under par, 65 for a school record, and just had a really consistently strong season. How do you explain kind of his improvement from the previous year?
Yeah, Ivan's the guy that makes quite a few birdies. So for him, it's just staying away from the double bogeys and worse. The bogeys are going to come, and just kind of ending it right there, making that be the max. He's had a great fall qualifying so far. I think he's averaging right around 6 birdies a round. All four of his rounds have been in the 60s. So he really has big aspirations for this year, and definitely has his eye on winning the conference as an individual.
You mentioned losing Kendra Plocky, who graduated but had a incredible 4-year career here as a Bulldog. You can't replace her, I'm sure, with one person, but what do you see as a key in terms of trying to continue to compete towards the top 5 of the GPAC like you have the last several years for the women?
Yep. So first of all, I think our returners have continued to improve. We've seen that already with some of our scores in our fall qualifying. Emery Custer, as a freshman that's come in from Broken Bow, she comes from a very solid high school program. I fully expect her to come in and compete, making an immediate impact in our top 5 right away as a freshman.
about just what you're seeing, as you said, from some of the veterans? You have Lauren Havlett back, who is honorable mention all conference, and Logan Eschleman and Maya Nurse.
Yeah, those three that you just mentioned have quite a bit of varsity experience, in our top five, and kind of know what to expect. With Logan and Lauren, they know it's their last year, and they're going to do everything they can to help the team perform as well as we can.
The entirety of the GPAC Championships now will be in the spring. Can you kind of explain what led to that movement now?
Yeah, so that was something that GPAC had kind of looked at the last several years of potentially going to a spring-only championship. However, our hand was forced a little bit by the NAIA because men's and women's golf is recognized through the NAIA as a spring sport, because that's when our national championship is. They had determined that our qualifying had to happen in the spring, where in previous years we were half in the fall, half in the spring, but this year everything will be in the spring, so that'll be a new look. The men will be at Beatrice Country Club, a course that our men have played a few times in previous years, and then the women will be going to Spencer Country Club in Iowa, and so that'll be a different look there. It'll be 54 holes over 2 days, 36 and 18.
Well, no, you also have something unique this year with the Alumni Event you're putting on in September. What are you hoping to kind of gain out of that? Maybe it's more about fellowship and bringing people together again.
Yeah, so like you said, I'm in my 12th season, so I have some alumni that have reached out and have kind of put a bug in my ear in previous years, and have a big enough pool now, I guess. So we invited all the alumni back from the previous 11 seasons to come back and compete against our current men's and women's team. It's some of the other schools in the conference do it. It's a great way to connect our current roster with some of the alumni. I think it'll be a really fun day. We'll be out at Highlands here on September 10th.
And lastly, August, September, early October, maybe some of the best weather around here, and you have maybe 4 or 5 tournaments on both sides this fall. But what do you hope to get out of this fall to kind of position yourselves for a good conference run in the spring?
Yeah, the biggest thing is playing a lot of golf during these nicer months. The weather in the fall is typically more favorable, just being in this part of the country. We've kind of made a shift in our tournament scheduling as well, more so on the men's side, but a majority of our events on the men's side will be 54-hole events, trying to prepare us for that conference championship. We'll look at trying to add more events similar to that on the ladies' side. Just at this point, they're not as available as they are on the men's side.